start feeling great.
Om Shanti and welcome to Light of Knowledge. For those of you who joined in last time, you would know that we discussed a beautiful topic called love and try to find its true meaning. True love is true acceptance is what we learned the last time. And this time around, we have Sister Shreya again with us to take this topic even further and understand it much better. Welcome to the show, Sister.
Om Shanti.
So, Sister, last time when we were discussing a very powerful example of letting my child play in the rain, and even though I love my child, how do I be accepting of that behavior?
Yeah.
So, can you help me understand, Sister, what is it that I should say, should not say, should do, should not do, so that she doesn't go out and play in the rain and get ill?
Yeah. The first thing is that we did talk about accepting this point of view that if she wants to play in the rain, she's right. She's right from her point of view. If we were in her place, it was raining heavily, even we would want that. So there's nothing wrong in that. I think that's pretty much that we understood in the last episode. But now what you should say and what you should not say is something that we have to discuss. So even when we discuss about what we should say and what we should not be attached to the result.
Okay, what does that mean, not attached to the result?
Sometimes when we're learning something, how to go about in the relationship, we learn with an intention, then this should happen, Okay, if I do this, then she should not go out in the rain.
Like an expectation, you mean?
Like an expectation.
Okay.
Because when we are accepting, what we can do with our child is we can guide them. We can influence them. We can share with them. But we can't still control them.
Right.
You can have the best intention. You can have the best of method. Still, it depends totally on the child, the choice they make.
True.
And the choice they make, they face the consequences.
Right.
So, I love my child, but when I'm attached to the child, I try to control the child because I want to control their fate also.
Okay.
I want everything to happen very well in their life because what's going to happen in their life has a lot of effect on me.
True.
If they are happy, I'm happy. If they are sad, I'm sad. If they are healthy, I feel good. If they fall sick.
Yeah, I feel sad. So in this context, it's again the condition that, I don't want her to play in the rain because if she plays, she's going to fall sick. If she falls sick, I'm going to feel really low and upset about it.
So there's that fear.
Yeah, there is fear.
So wherever there's attachment, there's this fear. How deep it is. I don't want her to go in the rain because she will fall ill. And if she falls ill, I will feel very bad. Or I will have to take a leave or take her to the hospital. And I see that future which has not really happened and I go into state of fear.
And it's actually pretty selfish because I'm actually worried about me, how I feel, and not really about her falling
And then
ill.
I say, I love you.
Yeah, so
is this love?
It is a love with conditions, right?
It's actually no love. There's no love here. There's just conditions and expectations that you have to behave in such a manner so that I feel good. I want that energy from you. I want you to behave in a certain manner so that I feel good. But here, firstly, the intention is very pure that I am sharing this bit of advice only for your benefit.
Okay.
Whether you do this or you don't do this is not going to affect my state of mind.
Okay. So when I'm telling her, don't play in the rain, whether she listens or doesn't listen, I'm still going to be stable and okay.
Yes.
Okay. But how long, sister, am I going to tell her, don't play in the rain, and she doesn't listen? I have to say it again, don't play in the rain.
Yeah, so you accept that playing in the rain is fine. And when you accept and send that energy of respect, actually 50% work is done. Because when I receive that energy of acceptance and love, I come very close to you. The bonding in the relationship is such that I want to listen to your advice in most cases. Because I know whatever you're going to say is going to be for my benefit. That's the relationship, Relationship is more exchange of energy. Right. So when I receive that energy of acceptance and respect, I come very close. In my mind, deep down, I know whatever you are saying is for my benefit. So I am going to pay attention to your advice. I'm going to listen to it very keenly with interest. So now when you tell me that, listen, whatever, the little one, the darling, that you should not play in the rain because you will fall ill and you have school and this, the more chances that your daughter will listen to you and will not do it. But again, there is 1% chance that she may not listen to you.
You know, my daughter has a mind of her own. And I have tried a lot of patience, you know, saying it again and again and again. And often I find that it's a very long route. Because as a working mother, I don't really have as much time to take this long route. And there are so many other shorter cuts that I could take. You know, I could maybe just instill some fear in her and tell her, you know, you'll get grounded. Or I could, you know, raise my voice and speak with her, which will give me quicker results.
And it works.
She
You
doesn't.
get result when you use your voice and you say it loudly and you tell her that you will not get your pocket money for this month, or I will not allow you to go for this birthday party. So does that work?
So for that moment, she won't play in the rain. And I
No,
get
no,
what
simply, does it work? Out of your experience,
Yeah, from
whatever
my
it is.
experience, in the same context, I get her to do what I want her to do.
So it does work.
Oh,
It does
okay.
work.
I get it.
What I'm trying to bring you is that it does work.
Right.
Why we get into these beliefs and why we get into the system of raising our voice and using authority and using control, because we see results.
Right.
It may be wrong, it is sending the negative energy, but why we're getting into the habit is because we are getting the result. But what result we're getting here is we're getting things done our way.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's one result. And that result makes me feel very good. Temporarily, my ego is also satisfied. You know, ego says that I am right. And because I am right, you're supposed to do what is right. And when I see you doing
Yeah.
that right, what I think is right,
Yeah.
I feel comfortable. My ego is satisfied.
Yeah.
So what happens is you get the result. And we start using this method. We get into the habit of using this method. But one thing that we can't see, which is very subtle, which we don't realize, is that every time I'm using this authority, I'm also sending negative energy. And I'm pushing my daughter away.
How would I be pushing her away?
Because what you want in the relationship, what kind of energy you want?
I want her to love me.
You know, in a relationship, what energy you want to receive from the other person?
Positive energy.
So when I use control and authority, what is the energy?
Okay, I'm sending negative energy by
We don't
wanting
realize.
Okay. So what you're saying is that if I am instilling fear in her that she's going to get grounded, or I'm going to say that I'm going to punish you, you won't go for a birthday party, I'm sending fear. And that fear is
You are
a
not
negative.
sending fear.
Okay.
You are just using control, and she's creating fear.
Okay. Okay.
See, the energy that you are using, the method that you are using is control, because your mother, you are at that role where you can use the authority.
Right.
And she is at a position, at a role where she cannot use that authority.
Yeah.
So she is experiencing fear.
Right. Okay.
You are not sending fear.
I'm not sending. Okay.
You are just sending that energy which is negative, of course, but you're controlling. But she is creating fear. That little being, that child, actually knows no fear. But when we use this method for the first time, a thought comes to our mind that what will happen if I'm locked in a room, or this person will, and you know, we use these methods that if you do this, I'm going to leave you in this room, I'm going to lock you, and this person will come, and this person will take you, and this person will do this. And we want the result, you know, see how damaging it is for the child sometimes. All we want is the result because we don't have time and we want to use the shortcut. But the child actually knows no fear. I teach the child fear. When I tell the child that I'm going to lock you in the room for the whole night, the child has a mind of her own, you just said. So there will be some thoughts in our mind, and those thoughts will be like, for the whole night I'll be locked in the room. What will happen? Will that person come? Will they eat me? Will they take me away? No, mama, don't do this with me, you know. And this thought creates fear in them.
Right. As a mother, then from what I hear you say, I have two routes. I have a long route, which has a lot of love and patience and telling her with a lot of affection and respect not to go in the rain.
Yeah.
And then I have a shorter cut where I can, you know, criticize her or scream at her or ground her or punish her or instill some fear in her. And often as working parents, it's the shorter cut that's so much easier and quicker and gives you the results that you want. And it's a longer cut that most parents really don't have the time and energy for. And it gets me thinking, what is the impact, therefore, of these two routes on the child? I mean, somebody using a lot of the shortcut,
Yeah.
but how does it impact the child?
See, what you want in life, just the results, or you want to build the relationship. See, you have to build a relationship. Just because you are a mother and she's your daughter or the son doesn't mean you have this natural relationship. Relationship is an exchange of energy. You have to build that relationship. When, some people say, oh, we have a very good relationship, that means the exchange of energy between these two souls is always positive. The energy that flows from me to you is also positive, and the energy I receive from you is also positive. That is exchange of energy, and that is relationship.
Right.
Now, of course, we're two souls, and through the day, especially mother and child, they're so connected to each other. They're thinking about each other all the time, especially small children. The influence is only of the parent. They've still not gone to school or something. I'm talking about very young children. So the influence of friends is not there. The influence of relatives is not there. The influence of environment is not there. So the major influence is actually of the parent.
It's true.
The major influences of the mother. The mother spends the maximum time with the child. The child is receiving your energy 24/7, actually from the time when the child is in the womb.
Yeah.
From that time, what you're thinking, you're sending that energy, that vibration to the child. So when we are building, if the motive is to build a relationship and not just get the results, we will never use a shortcut.
Sister, what happens to children who have been exposed to a lot of the shortcut? What happens to them eventually?
Eventually, I think personally, I meet a lot of children. See, if you continuously get negative energy, one thought that comes to your mind is they don't understand me. Because most of the time they are right from their perspective. As a parent, you're perfectly right from your perspective that you should not play in the rain, you should not go out late, you should not wear such clothes, you should not talk on phone. Various things, you are right. But if you don't sit and talk about it, you don't hear the other person, you don't have that one-to-one, heart-to-heart conversation, and you don't accept and respect the child actually never realizes that they are wrong.
Okay.
So a time comes when they just stop communicating.
That happens usually in the teenage years.
Yes.
And you won't see it a lot in toddlers. It manifests much
Yes. Toddlers, they're dependent on you. So even if you create fear, they will come back to you. They fall back to you time and again. There's nothing that they can do about it. You are the only source.
Right.
But once they grow up and they find people or the beings, different people who accept them the way they are. And that's why one of the most beautiful relationships is friends.
So you have a lot of youngsters then looking outside and dependent on friends more than their own parents.
Yeah.
And then parents wonder, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? I did everything in the interest of the child.
Because the intention was always pure, no? Every time you were giving an advice to the child, your intention was to make them this perfect human being.
Right.
What you thought was perfect, and you kept giving them that kind of advice because you wanted them to grow up to be a wonderful person, not realizing they're wonderful actually from their own perspective. See, you can help them influence and change particular sanskars, but you can't keep rejecting them for what they are. Because in their own sense, they're right. They're just different, Can you see the difference? They're not wrong, they're different. But every time I tell them that you have to behave this way and your way is wrong, it actually affects their self-respect.
Because I'm negating their
You're
point of
negating
view.
them, you're rejecting them. These
Okay.
children normally grow up with very low self-respect. Because if every time you keep telling me that I am wrong, then gradually that thought becomes very deep, And especially my mother or my father keeps negating me or rejecting me, then the quality of thoughts that I create in my mind is that, I'm no good.
True.
I don't think I can do this. I'm always wrong. They don't trust me. They don't believe me. They don't think that I can do this. So my confidence level
Goes down.
goes down. My self-respect goes down. And this happens very slowly.
Because the mother and the father are actually the most important people in that child's life. Right?
I remember reading this, sorry to interrupt you, but I remember reading this very beautiful thing. We have a spiritual class every day where we hear very elevated versions directly from God. And in one of the Murlis, in one of these spiritual classes, it said that the mother should never get upset with the child. अपने बच्चे से कभी भी नाराज नहीं होना. Never.
That's so tough, sister.
That's the role of a mother. No matter what they do, no matter how they behave. See, your role is to elevate them.
But what if I feel that irritation and frustration creeping up on me? What do I do? I should not let it come out to
Which
the
is
child.
fine.
Okay.
If you're getting irritated, the first realization is that it is not right. It's negative energy. You don't have to suppress it. Right now in the show, we're just trying to realize that it's not right. A lot of times there's not that realization also. We think to get irritated with my child is fine. To get angry to discipline my child is fine. To be authoritative, and even if they experience fear, it is fine. They will learn this way. Some parents come and tell me, of course they got angry, but see, I'm changed. If they hadn't done this so many years ago, I would have not changed. So sometimes a habit can change, but the pain will never go.
And it manifests itself in such subtle ways that it'll really not show in a very obvious manner, right? It could be loss of self-confidence in the child, lack of self-esteem, which I think in the later stages then it's very, very difficult to work on, right?
It's very difficult. It's not something like a 7-day course to improve your self-confidence. Trust me, it's not like that.
Yeah.
You can't bring a child and say, now increase their confidence. It is not something that goes down in 7 days, and it's not something that you can build in 7 days. And the most obvious thing that you can see, and I was talking about that, I scolded the child and I saw the change. But then that child will also grow up to be a parent who will use the same mechanism
on their children.
You learn by an example.
Right.
I have to ask myself, what do I like? See, we're all ready to become better. We're not so rigid. None of us think that we are perfect. We all want to change. We all want to become better. But if you want me to do what you think is right, I'm not ready. Can you see the difference?
Yeah, I can see it.
I don't really think I'm perfect. I'm ready to make a change. I'm ready to bring a change in myself. But I need to get that energy from you where I feel, okay, I'm going to think about it. And what you're saying makes sense. And I'm going to give it a thought. And I will see what we're trying to change in the other person is a sanskar. And sanskar is not an on and off button.
So what is a sanskar, sister?
It's a habit. It's something that you've done for a long time. And when you do something for a long time, it becomes natural.
Okay.
Sanskar is something when then you don't think whether I should do this or not do it. But what happens when you do something for the first time, you're conscious about it. Anything, any habit, when you're doing it for the first time, you're aware of it. But when you do it repeatedly, it becomes so natural, like anger. The first time you use anger, the mind says whether I should use anger or I should do it with love or, just use authority or assertiveness. But once I use anger and I see the result, I see, it's so easy. You just have to raise your voice and things happen. I was asking them to do this with so much love and it was not happening. And I just raised my voice and it happened. Now that is one instance. That is with one person. But because I got the result, and the purpose today is just to get the result, this way or that way, is just to get the result. It's not about the relationship. So I get into that understanding that, okay, anger works better than saying it softly or with love. And then I start using it with other people also. And I start using it with people without experimenting whether they may understand the language of love or not. I just start using anger as a weapon at all times. And then when I use it a lot, it becomes so natural that I don't even realize.
So it becomes a new normal.
It becomes a new normal.
So if I have to think of myself as a parent and say I'm going to criticize my child, if I keep doing it over and over and again, my natural parenting style will be that of being critical.
Yes.
And I'll never be able to step out of that mold and be naturally loving and positive and,
and you will
happy.
not even realize, because every time you're criticizing, you think you are helping them to grow. You're telling them their faults, you're telling them where they're wrong. Because let's take a moment and understand what exactly as a parent we do when we criticize a child. Like if you are criticizing your child, how do you go about it?
I'll tell her that you're wrong. You did this badly. This is not the right way to do it. Don't you understand? I've told you so many times before.
So, and the quality of thoughts in this?
If I have to think, it's really frustration coming out in what I'm saying, because
Yes.
I'm tired of saying that again and again.
And in my mind, I think, but I'm pointing out your faults, and I'm pointing out your faults for your benefit, so that you become aware of where you are wrong and you change that. But I am making them aware of their faults, and I want them to change. But to bring any kind of change, I am expecting them to change. I am expecting them to change a sanskar, which has become normal. It requires a lot of power.
So what you're saying is very deep, sister, that if you really want to change any kind of behavior,
Yes.
you need power.
Yeah, you just don't need knowledge. If you are repeating the fault of the child again and again, I'm sure by now the child knows that they have this fault.
Yeah.
And if you continue to repeat that fault again and again, it's only going to bring their self-respect down. Because they don't know how to change it. It's not that they really don't want to change. They really want to change it. So many times you will realize when you're having a conversation, and it's an easy conversation, not when you're frustrated or irritated. It's an easy conversation. The child will also agree that you're right, I need to change this, and this is not the right habit. So somewhere deep down they're aware of it. But just being aware of it, you cannot change it. So you need power. And power is also an energy. But when you get frustrated, are you empowering me or you're disempowering me?
When I get frustrated, I'm sending a truckload of negative energy to you, and that's weakening you, which is disempowerment.
See?
Okay. So how do I empower her, in this entire situation? What is it that I'm supposed to?
What is the opposite of criticism?
Opposite is appreciation.
It's not that we don't know.
Oh, we do.
But now you will say, but then how can I appreciate for something that they don't have? So we don't have to appreciate them for what they don't have. We have to appreciate them for what they have. I remember our founding father, our Dadi, shared that when they came and they were living together, of course they came with their weaknesses and strength. And if somebody would go to him with a complaint saying, and the complaint could be something big also, that they stole something, or they were not on time, or they were rude. The first thing is, it would not affect his attitude towards that child. He understood that the child is beautiful, is very special, originally is pure, but this is one of the weakness. It's not them. Now, sometimes we start identifying that particular child with that weakness. It's one of the weakness, but originally they're very special, pure. It's something that they've acquired, and we have to help them acquire a separate sanskar so that they can leave this dark spot which is there on that being. So he would call that child and would very lovingly talk to that child with so much love, with so much good wishes, and he would talk to that particular child about his qualities.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my child, you're like this, and you have this qualities, and you're so good at this, and you're so good at that. And genuine, not pretending. Genuinely, because every soul has a lot of specialities. And when he would do that, sending such positive energy, the self-respect of the child would come up. And when I am in a very high self-respect, it's very easy for me to respect you. Okay. Low self-respect, I can't respect you. Swaman se samman. So when I have high self-respect, it's very easy for me to respect you. So when I talk about your qualities, your self-respect increases, and you have this genuine respect for me and for my advice and for what I'm sharing. So now when I say, but you have this little one weakness, if you change this, you are just perfect. So I am motivated to at least think about that weakness and do everything that I can to change that. This is empowerment.
Wow. So if you want to change any behavior in any person, I think this is a universal law that you could use. You could focus on the positives, the strengths, the qualities, and appreciate that person. So you really empower the person to make that
This is love.
change. This is love.
This is love. Love is empowering. Love is never disempowering.
Wow.
So the true meaning of love is that every time the energy that flows from me to you empowers you, not brings you down.
Beautiful, sister. Thank you so much for your beautiful insights. We look forward to talking again with you.
Thank you, sister.
So viewers, I hope you enjoyed this session as much as I did. There were some beautiful tips and advice for all parents out there from a parenting perspective. The choice is yours, whether you'd like to use a long route or a short route. A short route of criticism, complaining, instilling fear in your child, or a longer route of love, patience, respect, and appreciation. You can empower your child to transform and make a beautiful life. Thank you.